All right, hey there, viewers. So I got a 2019 Honda Passport. This customer's complaint is she's got no AC. So we've been seeing a lot of these lately on the Passport, which is this one, 2019 and up, pilots, and also the Ridgelines. And funny enough, these things don't have the warranty extension like the 2-liter and the 1.5-liter turbo that's in the Civic and the CRVs. For the compressor shaft seal that leaks, because they have warranty extension on it. This one just has the 3-year 60,000 kilometer, your regular warranty. Doesn't have the warranty extension, but we've been seeing quite a few of these coming in with the shaft seals leaking. This one is actually soaked, I believe, from last time I saw it. Let me take a look again. Yeah, so yeah, I took a look. It's the front compressor clutch is completely soaked with oil, so it's definitely leaking from the compressor shaft seal. So no warranty extension on it, but our manager usually tries to get this covered under goodwill, because this thing barely has 30,000 kilometers. So anytime when there's like really low mileage, and it's a 2019, it's already a 6-year-old vehicle. Our manager, he's a good guy. He's trying to help he helps every customer that tries to come in, so they don't have to pay out of pocket. Just because the compressor itself is over $1,000, an OEM one, and an aftermarket one is just half the price. It's still a lot, but there is a bulletin to do these compressor shaft seals on these Passports, Pilots, and Ridgelines, but they don't have the warranty extension on it, just like the 1.5-liter turbos and the 2-liter on the Civics and the CRVs. So this is what we're trying to do for this customer. So I'm just gonna do it. Yeah, here our manager is covering. Says no charge to customer, but I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna show you how this is done. We have to pull the compressor out the top because you can't get it out of the bottom. So we got to remove the cowl on the front, remove the crossbar, remove the radiator fan, remove the drive belt, and then suck out the if there is anything left in it, and then pull the compressor out from the top. So let me show you that, yeah, I'll get the AC machine to see if there's anything in this thing. You also need the tool, which Honda does not send you it unless it's a recall or with an extended warranty. This thing has a bulletin but not an extended warranty, so we actually had to order this tool actually do this job rather than replace compressors for customers, because the compressors are way too expensive. If we can just do the shaft seal, the cost is significantly less. So this is why we're doing this, and we are trying to cover it under the bulletin as a goodwill warranty repair too, so customers don't have to pay for it. So a lot of stuff goes on at our dealership. We get a lot of customers, so we try to keep them coming back by doing stuff like this. They can just come back for maintenance, and yeah, we have returning customers. So that, I guess, because it has low mileage, it's a no-brainer. It's like, why should this happen, kind of thing. So let me go get the AC machine. So yeah, it's not too much. You just gotta get rid of all the bolts, and then unbolt it from the rest of the body. This part of the intake will have to come out. The radiator brackets, fan shroud. And then there's also that bracket down there that we got to remove. Can't see it now, but it's down there. So let me get this thing out of the way first, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like now. I just removed the bolts here, so it gives me some give to get it out, but you don't have to completely remove this plastic piece. Oh, that clips. Oh, it fell in. I can still see. I can grab a magnet, but you don't have to remove this plastic piece completely. You just gotta unbolt it so it has enough give to slide this thing out. So I gotta get that clip back from down there. Can't believe I dropped it. There we go. Got it. I watched it drop in front of my face. But anyways, now that's out. We gotta remove this fan shroud, and then there's a bar down there that we got to remove so we can get the compressor out that way. This compressor is not as easy as the 2-liter and a 1.5-liter turbo. Yeah, because there's no access to pull the compressor from the bottom. And this is how they want us to do it. So yeah, once we remove this fan shroud and then remove that crossbar that's down there, there should be just enough space between the radiator and I guess the alternator to get that AC compressor out. Wrong way. Oh shoot. Okay, I'm gonna drop the bolt. Nope. Pull this fan shroud out. Oh, harness is in the way. Make sure you don't hit the radiator. And there we go. And then the only thing left is this bar right here that goes right to that bolt. And if you watch my one of my videos where, you know, when they're making a creaking noise when you're turning, these bolts on this bar is sometimes not tight from the factory. Also got to remove this cover to access the bottom of the compressor. Put that there. But now we can actually see the bolts on the bottom. And then we can get to the bolts on top from up top. But we're gonna take this bolt out for this bracket that's in front of it. We also have to take off the serpentine belt or serpentine belt or whatever you want to call it. Dry belt. And so you can see this compressor is quite big. It's not gonna fit through this hole here. Not from underneath. Not from there. So we have to take it out of the top. And just to show you, because the front of the compressor clutch is all soaked, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but I'll run my hand to it. Oh, here, see? All that residue is all on the compressor clutch because that shaft seal is leaking. And it's collecting all the dirt on the compressor shaft seal. The other thing is you can tell this hose, you might see some residue on the hose right there. The hose. So on this hose, you can see residue on the hose. The hose is not leaking, it's just the compressor is flinging that oil onto that hose. And you can see it's also flinging it onto the subframe as well. So all this oil residue and all the dirt, that's just from your compressor flinging all the junk or all the oil from the compressor onto the subframe, and then the subframe collects all the dirt and stuff and it sticks to it. So usually that's a telltale sign of your compressor shaft seal leaking. And dry belts are really easy to do on these. Pilot, Passport, Ridgeline. It's just a 17 mil right there. Turn it and the belt just comes right out. Easy to route. Or the belt routing is really easy. Oh, can't see nothing. And that's the belt out. So I disconnected the line. Right? And then I put a plug on the compressor. This is the outlet side of the compressor. Before I go back up top, I'm gonna remove the bottom bolts of the compressor before I go back up top. So just make sure I take these bolts out. Sometimes they're very corroded and they're just stuck in there. And then there's also a 10 mil for a bracket for the suction line. Remove this bar. Make sure you don't damage your radiator while you're here. All right, this bolt is underneath the harness. Oh no, make sure I don't drop that bolt. So just let it fall right down or something. That's this bar. Oh man. Come on, Milwaukee, break it loose. Neutral drop. Get that out. Gotta unclip it from that bracket for the lower line. Oh no, it clipped back in. So if you want, you can actually pull this thing all the way up so it's not in your way. Let's get it past the harness and everything. Or you can actually disconnect it from here and just remove the hose. Yeah, so now I am gonna go get myself a piece of cardboard and block off the fins of the radiator, just in case I smack it accidentally and then I have to tell my manager we gotta pay for a radiator. It's not good when you know, your manager is trying to help a customer, and then the manager has to tell the customer that we poked the hole in his radiator and now he needs a radiator, right? So it's not gonna look good when, you know, your manager's already trying to help a customer. So, you know, some protection is better than no protection, I guess. Now I just gotta unclip the compressor. You know, take the connector off, and then the only things left is the two bolts on the top. I think no, the compressor is not hooked on there, so once I unbolt it, it's gonna fall down. I'm gonna put a plug on the inlet of that compressor first. Oh, that's why I guess I can still plug it up. But the seal kit is the same seal kit for the 2 liter and the 1.5 liter turbo compressors, but it's 3 different compressors using the same seal kit. So I'll show you the part number once I get this compressor out on a bench. As you can see where all the, you probably can't see it on camera, but you can see all the oil that's being flung by the compressor. Right, see? Right there. So here's more of it. You can already see. And this runs right in front of the AC compressor while it's spinning. So it's flinging onto this as well. So also new O-rings. That's gonna go onto the inlet and then the outlet side of the AC line down there. So make sure you replace those. So it's okay if you break these clips on the harness, because you can always replace them. Just cut them off, put them in the same spot. I keep a lot of these on my bench, especially with body clips and stuff, just because we do so much. We remove stuff like this, and also like the skid plates and everything. The clips always break, and then we always have to, you know, put something in place of it. So we keep a lot of these things on hand to, you know, to replace things when they do break. So I have tons of those. For me, I personally want to put everything back to how it was, especially if it's just like a harness. Imagine if you're just left it like that and it's like all the vibrations causing it to rub against something, and then it rubs through, and then you got an electrical issue, right? So I always tend to put everything back to how it originally is, even though if it's a broken clip or anything, I always put those kind of things back, you know. So I guess my standard of doing repairs, you know, like you just got to put everything back to how it was from the factory. Well, sometimes when it comes from the factory, they forget stuff too, but that's just an inside joke within you know, us guys in the shop. All right, so this compressor barely fits in between the radiator and this area, so I came out this way just to show you. all this oil residue. Oh, you're not even looking. There, see? All this oily residue is from that compressor shaft seal. You can see it's all oily. There is a felted, I guess you call it a sponge. So this thing is soaked in it. I take that out. You can see all the oil that's coming out of it, as you can see. So we're gonna remove the pulley here. Just gotta take the snap ring off, and then I got the tools over on the just over there. I'll just bring it over here and show you guys. So your seal kit. This is gonna be the same for your 10th gen Civic, 5th gen CRV, and then now the 2019 and up Pilot, Ridgeline, and Passports. Up until I think 2021, I think, or 2022. If you go aftermarket compressor, you're gonna screw yourself because there's two types of compressors on these. So if you order the wrong one, because they usually do send you a wrong one aftermarket because it's not the same. I think there's a difference between the Black Edition and the Touring. I can't remember why, but it had happened once, and we're never doing that again for an aftermarket. So now we're just going to do the shaft seal, and the tool to press it in is right there. You can see it. 07 AAD 5J6A 100. That is just for this compressor. There are two other tools for two other compressors, for the 2 liter and the 1.5. So gonna remove this clip, pull the pulley off, and then we're gonna use those tools there. So you're gonna pull this clip out from that holds the seal inside, right? Now you gotta set up the tool. All right, so tools installed. This is just to press it in to break the seal. Because once we put the other tool that pulls it out, it's supposed to slide out pretty easy. Because when a seal stays in there for a while, it stays in that one spot and it gets stuck. So this just kind of pushes it in, breaks the seal, and then it also allows it for us to grab it and then pull it out. So that is what this part is for. So once I get that done, I'll show you the other part. Okay, so this part is where we pull it. So it has this thing. There's a hole so you can see where you're going. I guess you don't really use it. So this tool is just to you stick it in, and then there's the lip on the end of that. That's going to expand, and it's going to grab the lips of the seal. Once you run this part down, and then you just thread it in, and it expands the bottom part here. So that's what that does. But yeah, I'm going to pull out the seal now. All right, so seal's pulled out. That's what it looks like in there. There are the two little holes that I guess oil and everything goes through it, and it just lubricates the shaft seal. But when it fails, it leaks past it. I've also had times where the condenser's leaking, but there's no visual sign that the compressor shaft seal was leaking, and it's dry. Like the compressor, the clutch and everything was dry, and it wouldn't pass the leak test. And then we're just like, what the hell's going on, right? And then we end up doing the shaft seal, put it back in, and then it passed the leak test. It was kind of weird, but sometimes, even though it doesn't look like it's leaking, right? We had the shaft seal that are dry, but then it had a leak. Yeah, it had a leak, but then it wouldn't pass the vacuum leak test because the seal is leaking, but the compressor clutch is dry. Jim had one the other day, and then he was like scratching his head. He's like, I can't pass the leak test. What the hell's going on? And I changed the shaft seal. It might look dry, but it's most likely leaking, and it was. And yeah, he was just scratching his head. Well, what's going on? And I had it before. It looks dry, but it's most likely leaking if you're not passing the leak test. All right, so we're gonna install the seal now. So there's a little cone, right? That goes on it. Make sure you spit on it and put some lubrication. I just use the oil. What is this? AC. I think it's Pro oil. So put some oil on that shaft there, or the cone, and then we're gonna slide the seal on it with a new clip. All you gotta do is slide the new seal on. All right, where's that? Ah, here it is. You can use this to push it down a little. There you go. And then we're gonna have to get a new clip. Where is it? It's in this bag. This clip will only go one way. Or you should only put it in one way. I believe it's this way. So the bigger tab goes on the top part. So we gotta stick that in. Clip is installed. Now we put this thing on, and then we put that thing on, and then it's supposed to push it down into until the snap ring hits the groove and it expands, and you can't go down any further. It's run in. I already tightened it, but you should feel like a little click. That's when the snap ring has gone into its groove. So that's in. Also double check. Once you remove it, let me take that thing out. That you can see part of that clip has gone into the groove, right? Because that's the new one, and then yeah, it's sitting in the groove. So now everything is just like reverse order of assembly. Make sure you put this little felt, the new felt piece back in, and that just sits in there, right? Gonna clean off the clutch surface, and then I'm gonna pour oil into the inlet. Some people are asking, hey, why won't you hydro lock the AC compressor? And my answer to that is it depends on what type of compressor you have, right? Because this kind of compressor it uses reed valves. The reed valves are right here. It's just a flap, right? So the inlet flap will allow it to go in, but not out the other way. And then the outlet flap will be allowing, so when it's compressing, it allows like oil, liquid refrigerant to go through. So you can't really hydro lock a compressor with reed valves. And that's my answer to the guys in the comments who were asking about it, because I did a compressor shaft seal on, I believe it was a Civic, and they were saying, why did you just pour oil directly into the compressor? Won't you hydro lock it? And it really depends on what kind of compressor, because these ones have reed valves, which is like a piece of metal, and it's just a flap that allows refrigerant in and then refrigerant out on the outlet flap. So it's like a one-way valve on each side, and it's a flap. It's not like your cylinder head where it has valves that actually open and close and it stays there. That way you will hydro lock it. These ones won't hydro lock. And that's why I pour it right into the inlet of the compressor. There you go, nice and shiny again. This is just, it still has that coating on the clutch part. That is just a surface for the pulley. But yeah, that's just coating. It's not oil. So this snap ring has a tapered end. I don't know if you can see it. So this will have to go facing up. So if you put it this way, right, which I've seen, we actually had a couple cars come back from another dealership, and they put the snap ring this way instead of this way. The compressor, the pulley, walked itself out, and then yeah, it took out the compressor, which is not good. So make sure you understand which way your snap ring comes, because you can see this raised part, or not raised part, like a tapered part on the snap ring. It's really hard to see, but it's there, and that allows it to go into the groove in there. If it's on the other way, it won't go in, and yeah, that's what happens. There are washers. I just leave those in there. It is a pretty new car, so I don't think there has been much use on this compressor. So there's 2 washers in there. There's also additional in the kit if you need it, if you decide to use a feeler gauge and measure the gap. But since this compressor is pretty new and I don't think there's hardly any use on this, I just leave it and then I just put it back in. But if it's like a car with, like, I don't know, over 100,000, 200,000, then I would probably measure it, just because, you know, there's always going to be wear on the clutch, and yeah, then I can actually start removing shims out of here, you know. Oh. I'm going to hold the compressor clutch. So this is going to be pretty hard to do, You got to torque the center bolt to 13 pound-feet of torque. So 13. Unless you have a tool to hold it, but you can also go like a couple ugga-duggas, but there's got to be something to hold it with, which we don't have. Nah, it's not gonna go. Here, I'll try and hold it here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Nah, it's not. Yeah. Oh, there you go. We got 5. Hold on, I gotta readjust my thumb here. It'd be nice to have like 3 hands holding it. There's no way. Click. You got 5 foot-pounds. Beep, beep. Nah, 5 foot-pounds. So we're not gonna reach it holding it this way. You're not gonna reach it unless you have something to hold it, and then have something in the middle of it to hold it in place. Jam something in the piston. Yeah, exactly. So there you go, 13 foot-pounds. So this compressor, but not the other ones, will have a little valve in it. You just gotta when you put oil in it, you gotta push it down to let it in. Kind of a pain, but well, I am using one hand, so you just push it, and it just allows the oil in. All right, so that's pretty much sums up for this repair. Yeah, other than installation is the reverse order of removal, and then you got to recharge it, and then you got to let the customer take it, use the AC, and if they notice any kind of drop in performance in their air conditioning, then come back. But it's lately it's just been these shaft seals that's been leaking, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So enough for them to come out a bulletin, but not enough for it to extend the warranty on it, just like the 2-liter and the 1.5-liter turbo. So anyways, I'll put this thing back in. If you guys enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.